Okay, here's the start of my video. And there's the project. It's a 38 Ford cab, and it's a 38 Ford front clip that we put onto a Zeed rectangular tube frame. And that's all the original front suspension. The frame was V'd out, and you can see where it was riveted. We just kind of used a pin and kept that rivet hole in, and then we just swung in the frame rails until they were straight. And then we just took that pipe and stuck it in there, and it's actually sticking all the way up and through there. And then we welded it all along the back and on the sides, welded it on the bottom, the top, and then we boxed the frame from the cross member back. We originally didn't think we were gonna straighten the frame rails, and this is actually where the body mount was. Came down here and the bolt hole was there. We thought the frame was gonna be that wide, so we cut that out. And then our new body mount is this, bolted to the firewall. It's got reinforcements in the back. But now we're thinking this is either gonna get bent, we're gonna heat it, we're gonna try to bend it, or we're just gonna cut it and we're gonna weld like a 4-link or something on here, and the links are gonna go back in there. It's gonna have Lakester exhaust. The exhaust is gonna come out. The exhaust is gonna come out here. It's gonna have a downturn, and the downturn will hopefully suck right in there, come down, and go up, and it'll go straight back on the outside of the frame rails. So there really won't be much on the inside. You can see I got the tunnel all done. Made the tunnel extra big. It's got a 350 transmission in it right now, but this tunnel will take a 700. It'll be extra long in the back, and it's got all the room in there. It's got all the room on the sides. You see the reinforcements for the body mounts. Looking back, probably could have just made this one big plate and had it tuck underneath there and weld directly to there. But I think it's going to be fine. Built this little box because we have the tunnel directly, forming to the sides of the motor. And then of course the transmission's around, so we just did it that way. Yeah, okay, what else? Oh, this is the front of the seat. And this is probably eventually going to have to get fixed. This is pretty rusty back here, and so is on the other side. This is going to get cut out. So there's going to be a square tube in here, inch square tube, and then it's going to have a bar coming back. The cushion's going to sit on top, and the bar coming back is going to go to the rear body mount here. And eventually we're probably going to weld a bar, like an angle on here, something that we can form. And the back seat's going to sit on the cab. And the body mount is going to connect to that. And we're probably going to have it come up and connect to this support back here. Although I can see that's pretty damaged as well. I didn't notice that before. I'm not sure what happened there. It's the same thing on the other side. But yeah, so we're just gonna box this in on the side, and it's gonna be empty back there, and maybe underneath where we put the supports in there for the seats and how they connect to the body mount down here, we can just cut the back of this cab off, and we can not have to deal with all of this rust. So that's a 8-inch Ford rear end out of a Maverick. It's 57 inches wide. So that's kind of unique. Most of them are 60. I think we're gonna go with that. I was looking at a Ford Explorer rear end, which is a 31 spline 8-inch rear end with disc brakes, and it was $250. But we might be able to get just like a used brake kit or something and go from there. Try to get disc brakes on the back. We're going to get a disc brake set for the front, and now that we know the rear end's going to be a Ford bolt pattern, we're going to get a Ford parts for the front, Ford bolt pattern. The motor is just a mock-up motor. It's not the motor that's going to be in the car. What else? Yeah, that's about it. So, yeah, we actually have this drive shaft that is maybe an inch too long, but it's free. So I think that's going to work. The bed can always be a little longer. It was going to be 48 inches long because that's the width of a sheet of metal. So, but we might be able to figure out some way to make the bed a little longer. Try to keep the axle in the center of the bed. So maybe the bed will be 51 inches long or 52. And yeah, the doors are a little saggy. That's going to have to get taken care of eventually. There's my dad's car up on the lift. That's pretty nice. And there's my car. This is my 62 Pontiac, which got rust on the hood, and we're going to kind of sand down and see if somebody will come by and spray it so we can sell it. Thinking about asking $9 grand. There's a parts car outside, and there's a door for this side. Yeah, this is the bad side. This has got some real body damage in here. This whole door is all bondoed in this back panel. There's a 62 Olds outside that's got perfect body panel, and there's a door that's got a junkyard. Those are Mustang bucket seats, and that's an insert that we made custom with the gauges in there. It's got a ratchet shifter. It's a businessman's coupe, no back seat. Gas tank's back there. It's got a 4.3 liter V6 in the throttle body. And it's got a 4L60E transmission, electronic overdrive. And it really winds up. It's pretty nice. It's got a really good throttle response. Throttle's a little sticky. It's got a wire throttle cable, so it's never really been perfect, but it works pretty good. You can see that the floors are up. This was a unibody car, and we kind of put a frame. It had a frame rails in the front that just molded into the body, and we cut the whole floor out because it was all rusted out. We raised the floor up like 3 or 4 inches, and then we just took that frame. We went back with it. And there's a crossbar in here, and then it's the old frame from the back, but we just connected the front and back. It's got a square drive tube in there. It's got a little box. There's a 4-link under there. Really nicely done 4-link. Kind of wish I was keeping it, but I just don't have the money. It needs so much body work. Needs all sorts of work done. All sorts of expensive stuff that we didn't really think about when we started this. It is a really, really good looking car. And there really aren't that many of them because they were unibodies. Nobody wanted to deal with them. So, it's going to be really gross under the hood. This is actually pretty cool. It's got a Volkswagen hood latch in it. It's got a Volkswagen hood latch, and it's actually got a cable where you can open the hood from the inside. Oh, and there's the throttle body and the motor. It looks gross. I used to do powder coating. I got all this stuff powder coated. Now it's all disgusting. The rear end in this is all powder coated. It's got hooker headers. It's got coilovers in the front. It's got QA1. I think that's the brand. Yeah, there's all the stuff for the computer. Wiper motor. This stuff. We have a little machine that puts beads and stuff. My dad did that. Yeah. Okay. Here's the underneath of my dad's car. It's got a 4-link. It's got a whole frame wheel, did all the work too. Put the crossbar in there. It's got the battery in the trunk. The battery cables are running in that sheet metal tray my dad made. The exhaust might have gone through here at one point, and then we decided not to do that. He's got full-length headers on this out of like a Mustang, and they just happen to work. He just had to lower the motor like 2 inches, and they cleared the frame. And the exhaust just goes straight back from there. And there's a nice stance. You can see where we put the clip on. Well, you probably can't because it's so dark, but yeah, it's got a whole front clip on it with coilovers, disc brakes. It's got a 348. I think it's a truck motor, but they all look the same with the bow tie valve covers. And it has a easy EFI throttle body on it, and it runs really good. And I think this is a Tremec, some sort of Tremec 5-speed transmission. And this thing runs pretty good. I don't think it's crazy. I think it's probably about 400 horsepower. But, yep. Back to the 38. There's the back. That's where it's about going to sit, the rear end. So that's kind of how it's going to sit. Obviously, that's not representative of the front tires. That'd be a little bit higher off the ground, but this is the ride height. Those are about 5-inch blocks under the frame. So the body will be about 6 inches off the ground. And yeah, just gonna drive it like this for a while. And then maybe if I get a couple grand saved up, then we can chop the top, maybe 3 inches. And yeah, that's about it. I'd say the only thing that really bugs me is that I didn't think about it. We could have reversed the cross member in front. And it wasn't necessarily about bringing the wheels up further, although that'd be nice, but it's the fact that you're taking away 2 inches from all of this stuff, from where the center of the axle is to how far out past the cross member. If you bring that closer together, then you can get the grille and the radiator closer, so you can bring the wheels closer out towards being kind of more towards the front of the radiator and the grille. I'm kind of worried that the grille's going to stick out a little bit too much past the front wheels. It's not really the look I was going for. But yeah, it's a learning experience. I do still want to keep it. Although, you know, this is a learning experience. I can drive this around for a couple of years, let people see it driving around town, and put a sign on it, and somebody can buy this for their kid or something, take it to the Rat Rod shows. And yeah, I think that's as much as I want to say for this video number 1. All right, thank you for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.